Welcome to this explainer. Today we're jumping right into a really fun visual breakdown of something you probably see every single day, but maybe never actually stop to think about. We're looking at a standard everyday tote bag, but this one is just absolutely packed with artistic intention, psychology, and meaning. You know, we so often take functional art for granted, but when you think about how teachers are pretty much the unsung heroes of our society, the everyday stuff they carry around actually becomes this fascinating piece of cultural design. So we're going to visually deconstruct the choices, the aesthetic framing, and the sheer utility of this piece to figure out exactly why it resonates so perfectly with modern educators.
To really get this, we have to start with the emotional core. It's a fascinating bit of fashion psychology, really. When you wear a quote, you're essentially turning yourself into a walking billboard for your personal values. So before we even look at the broader artwork, check out the literal heartfelt text anchoring the whole thing. It takes a big heart to shape little mind. It's bold, it's affectionate, and it is deeply emotional. The designer put this front and center to tell you right away, this isn't just some generic bag to lug papers around in. It's a very intentional tribute, printed right on the canvas, reminding everyone of the incredible emotional labor that goes into teaching day in and day out.
And here's the full physical product in all its glory. Look at how cleanly that overall design pops. By using this deep, dark black canvas background, the designer made sure those vibrant pinks, yellows, and teals just absolutely leap off the fabric. It makes the message impossible to miss, even from all the way down a chaotic school hallway. But let's be real for a second. Think about the sheer utility of a black canvas. Teachers live in a notoriously messy reality, right? We're talking leaking pens, stray art project paint, coffee spills in the break room, everyday playground dirt. The black background isn't just there to make neon colors look cool. It's a massive, highly practical, stress-reducing feature for a wildly unpredictable job.
Okay, so to see how this design works so effectively, here are the visual elements we're going to decode today. The retro teacher typography, the sheltering yellow pencil, the heart and star rainbow, the centerpiece disco ball, and finally the subtle leaf pattern background. Let's dive in.
Grounding the whole design at the bottom is the word teacher, and it's written in these thick, bubbly, retro pink letters. It instantly gives you this powerful wave of nostalgia. If you think about who is teaching in classrooms right now, a huge chunk of millennials and Gen Z educators grew up in the late 80s and 90s. They grew up right in the middle of the Lisa Frank era, with those vibrant Trapper Keepers and neon bubble fonts. By using this specific typography, along with that really grounded purple checkered underline, it's like a brilliant little callback to the teachers' own childhoods. It creates this super fun, approachable foundation that just captures that energetic, joyful vibe you absolutely want in an inspiring teacher.
Now this is really cool. Look at how one simple functional change totally shifts the aesthetic framing of the artwork. This is an alternative version that features stark white straps instead of the standard black ones. Just introducing those bright white handles creates this intense, sharp contrast against the black canvas. In fashion design, accessories often use contrast to kind of dictate the season or the time of day an item feels appropriate for. Those white straps instantly give the bag a much crisper, daytime casual, almost spring-ready feel. It beautifully demonstrates how incredibly versatile the core artwork is. Just by swapping the hardware color, you completely change the mood while keeping that central heartfelt message exactly the same.
Moving up the design, right above the text, we have this beautifully executed visual metaphor. That curved yellow pencil, it's not just some generic school supply floating around. The designer specifically bent it to act like a protective arch, literally sheltering that vibrant rainbow underneath. And if you look really closely at that rainbow, it's not made of your standard color stripes. It's actually filled with tiny, colorful hearts and stars. It's such a brilliant way to visualize the quote we started with, representing the safe, colorful, nurturing environment a teacher provides. They're literally acting as a buffer against the chaotic outside world, so those little hearts and growing minds can truly thrive.
Right smack in the middle of that sheltering rainbow is a pretty surprising, totally fun detail. A shimmering disco ball. I mean, I love this. It injects this literal sense of a celebration, a party, into what can honestly be a pretty grueling daily grind. Because, let's be real, surviving a room full of hyped-up third graders definitely requires some serious disco dancer stamina. But then, notice the juxtaposition happening behind all of that. Stretching across the black fabric in the background are these really faint, calming gray leaf vines. They add this grounding, organic tranquility to the whole thing. It's like acknowledging that a great teacher also needs the patience of a Zen garden, balancing out those high-energy neon colors perfectly for a really well-rounded emotional experience.
And that balance of energy and calm translates so well into real-world versatility. On the left here, you see it functioning flawlessly as a wearable shoulder accessory. It sits snugly and comfortably against the body for that hectic morning commute. But then, on the right, it looks just as stunning resting on a park bench in a natural environment, holding a bouquet of yellow tulips. And wow, talk about a great visual echo, with the yellow of the tulips perfectly picking up the yellow of the pencil in the design. It really proves this is way more than just a utilitarian work bag. It's a genuine lifestyle piece that transitions beautifully from the structured classroom to a lazy weekend stroll at a farmer's market.
But of course, beyond looking good, the sheer utility of a bag like this is absolutely paramount. The structural integrity has to be there because educators carry an absurd amount of weight on any given day. We're talking heavy laptops, endless stacks of graded papers, water bottles, lunch, and, maybe a confiscated Frisbee or two. The volume really matters. When you see it carried down by the side here, you get a real sense of its practical, everyday capacity. It holds all those essentials without looking overly bulky or cumbersome. Plus, notice how effortlessly it pairs with just a casual black t-shirt and blue jeans. It doesn't just complement the outfit, it literally becomes the statement piece.
So, we've unpacked the color theory, the clever metaphors, the nostalgia, and the everyday utility of this tote. But when you strip all those artistic choices away, it all comes right back to that one central message of appreciation. So I want to leave you with a thought based on the heartfelt tribute we decoded today. How do you show gratitude to the educators who shaped your mind? Whether it's through a beautifully designed tribute piece, sending a handwritten note years later, or simply passing on the knowledge and kindness they gave you, the impact of a great teacher is clearly worth celebrating. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep looking closely at the brilliant design hiding right there in your everyday world.